The waves whispered softly against the shore, their rhythm older than memory itself. Far beyond the dunes of a forgotten coast, a single seashell rested beneath the moonlight, half buried in silver sand, glowing faintly as if holding the last breath of the sea. No one knew how long it had been there. The tide came and went, the stars drifted, and the world kept dreaming. But one night, as the wind quieted and the sea lay still, someone found it. Her name was Alara, a wanderer who had always listened to the world more than she spoke to it. She traveled with no map, guided only by the sound of the wind and the feeling in her chest that something, she couldn't name it, was calling her. That night she couldn't sleep. The ocean murmured her name between the waves, and so she walked. Barefoot, she followed the moonlit shore until her eyes caught a faint shimmer among the sand. A seashell. It was unlike any she'd ever seen. Not white, not pink, not brown, but a deep translucent blue that seemed to hold a piece of the sky. She picked it up, brushed off the sand, and for a moment, she thought she heard something. A voice soft as a sigh. A word, maybe her name. Then silence again. Alara smiled to herself. It's just the wind, she whispered, but something inside her disagreed. That night she sat by a small campfire on the dunes. The seashell lay on her palm, warm to the touch, almost alive. When she placed it near her ear, she didn't hear the usual echo of waves. Instead, she heard a memory. It wasn't her own. A woman's laughter, the sound of rain on leaves, and the steady heartbeat of someone waiting by the sea. The voices faded like the tide, leaving her heart strangely full and hollow at once. She tried again, and again the shell whispered, each time a different echo. A fisherman singing to the dawn, a child counting seashells, a lover promising to return. Every sound was soaked in time, gentle, aching, and beautiful. The shell, she realized, was not simply an object. It was a listener. It carried the echoes of every soul that had ever stood before the ocean and poured their heart into its waves. The days passed. Alara wandered further, carrying the seashell with her. When she grew tired, she listened. When she felt lost, the shell would hum faintly as if guiding her forward. And one night, beneath a sky scattered with stars, she heard something new, a voice asking for help. "Find me," it said. "Find the heart of the ocean." The next morning, the sea was restless. The tides rose higher than ever, and a path of glowing foam stretched into the distance, like a silver ribbon across the waves. Alara knew what it meant. She stepped into the water, holding the shell to her chest. The sea welcomed her like an old friend, cool, alive, endless. She walked until her feet no longer touched the sand, until the water carried her weight and she floated, still and silent. The world beneath her glowed faintly blue. Fish shimmered like moving stars. And in the deep, she saw it, a light pulsing like a heartbeat, slow and steady. The heart of the ocean. Alara swam toward it. As she descended, the shell in her hand began to vibrate. The echoes grew louder, hundreds of voices, each one calling her name in harmony. They were not lost souls. They were memories. Every sound, every whisper, every wish the sea had ever heard, all living within the same endless current. When she reached the light, it opened before her like a giant pearl. Inside was silence, and within that silence, peace. She placed the seashell inside the glowing heart. For a moment, it shone brighter than the moon, then slowly dimmed. The voices stopped. But in that stillness, Alara felt it. Every sound she had ever loved, every moment of calm, every memory of laughter, flowing through her veins like warm light. The ocean whispered one last time. "You listened. Now rest." When the waves carried her back to shore, she was no longer the same. The seashell was gone, but its sound lived in her. Whenever she closed her eyes, she could still hear it, the gentle pulse of the sea, the soft echo of something larger than time. And so she stayed. On that same forgotten coast, she built a small cottage near the dunes. She greeted each dawn and each tide. Sometimes, children from nearby villages came to visit, asking for stories of the sea. She would smile, close her eyes, and begin. Once, there was a shell that remembered every voice it ever heard. The children would listen wide-eyed as the wind carried her words out to sea, adding one more echo to the eternal song. And if you listen closely, even now, when the night is calm and the sea is quiet, you might hear it too. The laughter, the wind, the whispers of the world, all echoing softly within the heart of a seashell. A Dreemly original sleep story, written for calm, peace, and deep dreams.